As the American population gets older, many people are asking this question: will I be able to stay in my own home as I age? For a large chunk of the population, this question hangs heavy. With the cost of housing, home maintenance, and renovations quickly rising, many people on a fixed income are struggling to keep up and aren't seeing any relief in sight.
Over a third of older households are what we call housing cost burden, meaning that they are spending more than 30% of their income for housing, and half of those folks are spending over 50% of their income on housing. So that is a significant issue. We have more and more older homeowners entering their 80s and beyond with mortgages, which can be very difficult on a fixed income or income that is declining. Also renters, the same story of rising rents, but fixed incomes.
That's Jennifer Malinsky, director of the Housing and Aging Society program at Harvard University's Joint Center for Housing Studies. She says that affordability is one of two major housing challenges facing our aging population. The other, accessibility. Right now, many seniors live in homes that aren't safe or accommodating to their needs.
By our estimation, less than 4% of the U.S. housing stock has a no-step entry, single-floor living, and wide enough hallways and doorways that could accommodate a wheelchair. Less than 1% is thought to be wheelchair accessible. That's a problem because mobility difficulties increase with age, and we're set to see a rapid expansion of people in their 80s and over, and not being able to navigate or use certain features of your house, or indeed get in and out of the house easily, can present safety risks. And it can also lead people to need to rely on other people for something that they might otherwise be able to do themselves, like laundry or cooking.
By the time adults reach their 70s, 80s, and 90s, it's common to need additional fixed structures, such as ramps, chairlifts, or grab bars to get around and reduce the risk of falls. So why don't more seniors make these upgrades? Malinsky says it's not about persuading people to add them. The real issue is cost. For the average American, retrofitting their home to improve accessibility is far out of reach.
On average, American homeowners spend about $5,000 to make their home wheelchair accessible. And this is just basic adding ramps. There are some minor upgrades such as adding grab bars or rocker switches that are more ergonomic in terms of physical mobility with your hands. And those can cost as little as $200 to $500 for each intervention. But major renovations like ramps, stair lifts, and widening doorways, and especially bathroom conversions range anywhere from $7,000 upwards to $25,000. Full comprehensive remodels could run easily up to $50,000 or more if you start altering major aspects of floor plans. Things like adding elevators can escalate that even more.
That's Lisa Sundell-Platt, assistant professor of interior design at the University of Florida's College of Design, Construction, and Planning. Though many Americans are deeply attached to their homes, for some, moving feels like a safer option than staying in a house that no longer meets their needs. Plus, with seniors already spending the majority of their income on housing, downsizing could significantly reduce that expense. On paper, moving may sound like an easy solution, but in today's market, it's anything but. Many seniors are looking for one-story, ranch-style homes, but with low supply in the housing market, these layouts are some of the hardest to find.
Right now, about 60 million Americans are documented as living with some type of disability, and about 20% of the population in the U.S. are over 65. So the demand for accessible housing massively outpaces the supply. The housing shortage simply does not allow Americans to find homes to allow them to live safely, whether they want to uproot and move or not. Many people are either forced to modify their existing home, and this can be at considerable personal expense, or continue to live in spaces that don't support their physical, emotional, or social well-being.
Along with these concerns, living in a non-accessible home greatly increases the risk of accidents and injuries later in life. For those who live alone or without a caretaker, a single fall can be extremely dangerous and even life-threatening. These injuries can also lead to a revolving door of dependency on professional rehabilitation care.
One of the things we're seeing, especially for people over the age of 60 who live in homes ill-suited to support mobility challenges, can be accidents in the home. Falls are one of the major reasons why older adults end up in the hospital and continuing care. And this can be a major drain on health infrastructure because obviously, if you have older populations in certain communities and homes, as we know, which are ill suited to support their changing physicality needs, that becomes a vicious cycle. The other issue with that is more older adults ending up in long-term continuing care. And that can be really a very dramatic, life-changing experience.
Care homes across the country are already understaffed and overcrowded, and adding more residents would only make the problem worse. Beyond this, losing autonomy, independence, and freedom of choice is an extremely difficult transition. In order to lessen the risk of going down this path, Malinsky recommends these resources that can help seniors retrofit and update their home at a lower cost.
There are quite a few home repair and home modification programs out there. There can be a few barriers to accessing them. One, people may not know they exist or not know how to begin, not know where to turn. And then if you're trying to hire a contractor, not know who to trust. And two, cost can be an issue. So some of the resources that do exist include public and nonprofit programs. So Habitat for Humanity, Rebuilding Together, other nonprofit organizations do aging in place work in addition to repairs. There are state programs that offer assistance for remodeling to accommodate someone with a disability. And there's a searchable list for those interested at homemods.org. So you can sort by geography and look for resources in your location.
And for those who can afford it, Malinsky encourages making home modifications well before there's an obvious need. Too often, homeowners realize changes are necessary after an accident or fall. By upgrading ahead of time, you're not in a time crunch, and these safeguards are already in place when mobility needs begin to shift.
I think the other thing that we can do is to help people get ahead of these needs is when other work is happening on the house, say you're redesigning your bathroom or you have to open up the bathroom walls for some reason, some repair reason because you've had a flood or whatever. That's the time to put in the blocking for the grab bars. You don't even need to put the grab bars in, but you put in the wood blocking so that it's much easier to do it later on. So just start thinking ahead and think earlier about things being more adaptable as your needs may change, because it's going to be less costly that way. And then it will be much easier to do if the time comes. And, oftentimes people experience the need for an accessible home in a rather emergency way. They fall and they break their ankle or they're coming home from the hospital and the home isn't ready. So getting ahead of that, I think, is something that homeowners can do, and also something that contractors can help their clients think about when they're doing other work.
Platt also suggests researching non-slip flooring options and adding accessible handles to cabinets to reduce the risk of falls. And one simple, no-cost step: clear out the top shelves so you no longer have to climb a step stool. And while these changes can greatly improve the quality of life for older adults, it's important to remember that the disability community needs these accommodations too. By making upgrades now and advocating for more funding and support for accessible housing, we can better prepare for aging and the possibility of an unexpected disability.
Although a lot of this is attributed to older adults, this is a phenomenon that can impact anybody at any stage of their life. If somebody has a major health event or an accident and all of a sudden finds themselves in a living environment that doesn't meet their needs, the same issues can transpire because of a lack of thoughtful universal design as it's applied to homes. And I can tell you that is a real opportunity for improvement, is understanding how we design homes in a way that truly are resilient in supporting human health and well-being, because right now that is really not happening.
To find out more about Jennifer Malinsky, Lisa Sundal-Platt, and all our featured guests, visit viewpointsradio.org. For more behind the scenes and to support our show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. This segment was written and produced by Grace Galanti. Our executive producer is Amira Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Marty Peterson.